If your swath control is backwards, your left shuts off when the right should shut off and vice versa, and your map is doing this janky thing where it shows you moving backwards through the field when you're indeed moving forwards, then you have a micro switch issue. Here's my 4730 sprayer, guys. It's 2009, and I've been having some issues here with my swath control and also some issues with my mapping. It seems to want to say I'm going backwards when I'm going forwards if I'm opening up on the end or something. So I've looked through some forums. Some people said that it's this here, this little harness of micro switches that go underneath of here. That's what I found for a few people. Somebody told me to try a different receiver, so I tried a different receiver, and it seemed to help. And then all of a sudden, it didn't. So I think it's definitely this. I think the harness was just a shade over $100, and so we're gonna put it in. A lot of times I'd YouTube this, how to take apart a console on a 4730 sprayer or something silly, but since we're walking through this together and I'm making my own YouTube, it's just fitting that I try to figure it out myself. So we've got to take these 4 bolts out, which one busted, and got to take this little nut off of this linkage, and then we should be able to get this off. I've got my console out. To remove it, there's a little bolt there, and there. I already removed those, and I can't get a 3/8 socket in there, so we're gonna have to go find something smaller. Here's where this thing bolts down. Here's my busted off one. I'm gonna get a vice grip and try to work him out. It looks pretty savage, seized, but we'll see what we can do. And then our little harness goes in there. Once we split it, it should be pretty straightforward. It's apart, and I just need to find where those little micro switches are. Oh, okay. I think they go underneath of this. So to sum up here, if you don't change your own oil, you should not do this. Okay, so the machine moves. That's great after I did all that. But as a note, you cannot replace that from in here. You have to take it out. So remove those 4 bolts if you can. And this thing lifts off. Remove this nut on the linkage and remove or disconnect your harness. And then this whole thing comes out, and there's 3 little screws or bolts underneath that come out, and then you can split this top half off of the bottom half, and then it's a lot of stuff in there that's pretty small. So when I would open up the field on the ends, when I'd get to a corner and kind of back into the corner and get my boom set to start, my mapping, my GPS monitor, 2600, 2630, it didn't matter. I tried both monitors. It would show that my machine was moving backwards when I was moving forwards. And subsequently, that would cause my left boom to shut off because my right boom was overlapping. If my right boom was overlapping, my left boom would shut off. If my left boom was overlapping, my right boom would shut off because it thought I was moving backwards. And so I couldn't use swath control in the corners. And then usually it would kind of straighten itself out and things would kind of go back to normal once I had the field open up and I was going, back and forth because I wasn't backing into corners. I was just, the throttle handle was forward position. So I think that those micro switches in the hydro handle, under the hydro handle, were bad because the machine wasn't detecting that I was going from reverse to forward. So that's why the micro switches were the big deal. So if your swath control is backwards, your left shuts off when the right should shut off and vice versa, and your map is doing this janky thing where it shows you moving backwards through the field when you're indeed moving forwards, then you have a micro switch issue. I've sprayed 2 fields after I replaced the switch, and I haven't had the same issues since. So to me, that's a win. I couldn't go 1 field without it acting up before, and it just kind of came on out of the blue. It wasn't like a gradual thing. It's like it just kind of quit working. So if you have these symptoms, spend $100, get that harness, and preferably when you have some time to do it, replace it.